It's Lady Cam, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today, the topic is domestic violence. So I'll talk to you briefly about my experience with domestic violence and that you need to get up out that thing, you heard me. So I'm trying something different with the lighting. I'm trying to see how it look like this, But yeah, y'all, let's get into it.
I used to think my mistakes was who I was. The devil is a lie, killing all that he loves. Used to walk around the world with a bunch of pain. Ain't what I wanna be, but I can't complain. Used to think my mistakes was who I was. The devil is a lie, killing all that he loves. Used to walk around the world with a bunch of pain. Ain't what I wanna be, but I can't complain. You can't tell me that my God ain't real. I don't care how they feel. Yes, I got a testimony.
I want to say, this is not a video to bash anybody. Anybody who I'm mentioning in here, been forgiven. Ain't nobody tripping on that. That's the past. But this is my testimony. This is my story. And hopefully this will help other people. Okay. So this was when I was engaged to this guy. And I would admit that it was on both sides. So I hit him, he hit me, he hit me, I hit him. So it was kind of that situation where we really didn't respect each other's space in that sense. It was definitely a passionate relationship. I definitely learned from it. So with that situation, there was times where my head was bleeding or I had to wrap my hand up to go to work because it was hurt bad. He had a knot on his head. It was crazy. Boy, I tell you, them 20s, boy, boy. But it was definitely crazy. And just to kind of fast forward a little bit, because I don't want to focus necessarily on the abuse that we caused each other. So, I want to say we were with each other, let me see, 2015, I want to say we were on and off for about maybe 2-3 years. Because I remember breaking off the engagement in 2017, and that was the same year my mother passed away. And I want to say I met him either late 2014 or like 2015-ish. So I think it was 2014, like late 2014. But anyway, so like I say, it was like back and forth. But it was times where he hit me and I didn't hit him, and it was like, what, dang, like what we doing? So anywho, for the record, don't put your hands on nobody. Women don't hit men, men don't hit women. Don't hit. If you're in an LGBT relationship, first of all, you don't need to be doing all that. But if you is in one, don't be hitting each other. So anywho, the way I got out of that relationship, that's why I really wanted to do this video. So there was a few times that I left, but then I ended up coming back. I remember when my manager, Reggie, when he passed away, and he was like a friend as well. And he passed away. At this time, I wasn't with my fiance. And he called me, was like, he heard what happened. And, I was vulnerable, you know how it is, and you go back. So I went back or whatever. And something else happened with his family. But the way I got out, I remember that day my cousin came to see me. And she picked me up, and I think my car was down at the time. So just imagine being in a domestic violence relationship and you don't have transportation. That's crazy, right? So she came in at me, and we were in, at that time I stayed in Clinton, and we went to Baker. So if you stay in Clinton, I mean, if you know where Clinton, Louisiana is, and Baker, Louisiana, so it was that distance we drove, but we say down the road. So, me and my cousin, we went down the road. I want to say I got my nails did or something like that. And we were just talking. And then I think I might have handled some business or something, like paid the bill or something. And she took me back to the house and dropped me off or whatever. And when she dropped me back off, he was pretty upset to the point where when he slammed the door came off the hinges, and I was like, whoa. Like, I've seen this guy mad, but that was my first time seeing him that angry and upset to the point it scared me, and I was like, I gotta get out of here. And I want to say that was early 2017, because my friend from high school, Aisha Davis, she was murdered by her baby daddy. I want to say the story was that he was at the door. He knocked at the door, and she opened it, and he shot her like in the head. And if y'all know Aisha Davis, bro, that girl was just so sweet, nice, wouldn't hurt a fly, and that broke my heart. And at that time, for some reason, like, it just reminded me, like, we can be in these relationships with people that we really love, but they're toxic, and it might real life cost us our life. And I really felt if I was to leave him that time and come back, that most likely I probably would have lost my life. So anywho, when I saw the door off the hinges, I'm like, oh no. And he ran out or whatever, and I don't know where he went. So at this point, I want to kind of take it back a little bit. What I would do, this is sad, but whatever. Some of my methods, what I would do is, like, when I have in my mind, like, I'm about to leave because it's toxic and abusive, I would hide some of my stuff in the rooms or in the house. So that way, when, like, the house is clear, I could just go to those spots, grab my stuff, pack my bag, and I'm out. You know, so I would, like, pack here and there, but hide my stuff, like, everywhere. And I would change up the spots that I hide them, like, every day or every other day. I know it's a lot to do, but when you are in life-threatening situation, you come up with some very smart tactics. And I'm not saying use these because, you know, you might have a predator watching this and be like, I'm finna search the house. But those were things that I would do. So on that particular day, so we had other people, I want to say, because we were staying at his grandmother's house, and his sister was there, and her fiance lived there, and me and him were there, and we were all saving up to get a place. So everybody was gone. I checked the rooms. So everybody was gone. He stormed out angry. So I'm like, only thing I remember hearing was go, like, or the time is now. It was the time is now. This is the time. That's it. This is the time. That's what I heard. Because if you are in domestic violence relationship, you already know your partner's schedule, like if they have a work schedule. So you know different times of the day where, well, look, if I'm going to leave, I need to leave at this time. Like, for all those who've been in that situation, you already know. So I'm like, he stormed out, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be gone for at least a good 20 minutes. So like I say, my cousin had, like, literally just dropped me off. So I'm calling her like, yo, turn back, I'm finna leave while everybody gone. He tripping, you know, woo, 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 woo. So she came back or whatever, and I got my bags, and I'm looking outside. Like I said, I checked all the rooms, everybody gone. So I got my bag, she pulled up, I'm throwing my stuff in there, and then I see him come back, and I'm like, oh my God, like, but my cousin here, I got transportation, whatever, woo, 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 right? So he comes back, and he has a firearm that's registered in my name. So I politely, like, you know, asked him, I was like, you know what I'm saying, yeah, I'm finna leave, I'm finna go, could I get the gun? Because the gun is in my name, right? And he like, no. And I'm like, bruh, like, can I get the gun? The gun is in my name, like, you feel me? And he like, no, like, hard up, like, no. So I see his sister outside, and their little cousins. When I say little cousins, they like little kids. So I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to cause a scene in front of these children. You got a gun, you're angry. I'm just trying to make sure this situation goes over as smooth as possible. So I was like, you know what? Keep that. And I just left with my cousin. And that was the last time I saw him. And that was that wasn't the last time I saw him. That was 2017. So a few months later, my mother passed away. And, well, you know, excuse me. not to get off topic, but there was another situation that happened after that with that cousin. And people, I don't know, people show their true colors when you're in vulnerable situations and they feel like you, what could be the proper term, proper say? And they feel like you have nobody else to turn to, so they try to like take advantage of you. So I remember staying with when my cousin picked me up, whatever. She brought me to her sister's house, and like we all went to the same high school, so it was, you know, I knew them. They was my cousins. These cousins that I knew, you know what I'm saying, back in the day. So I stayed with her. I paid her whatever because I still had a I think I had my job. Did I have my job? I had income. It might have been unemployment. I don't know, but I did have income. I do remember that. So I you know, I was paying her whatever and things like that, trying to, you know, kind of get situated and get my mind together. And I remember one time the cousin who had dropped me off over there, she was knocking at the door, and I'm like, why is she, you know, I'm trying to sleep, like I'm tired, you know, I don't really have the energy, etc. So then I'm getting text messages from her saying that she gonna call the police and all this rah rah rah, and I'm like, at the time, no lie y'all, I had a warrant. The only reason why I had a warrant is because when that situation, it was another situation that played out with him and his family, and they tried to say that I hit somebody, and you know, when we went down, they already knew that it was a lie, and it was a whole bunch of stuff. So I ended up driving away. I was speeding, trying to get away from that, and of course the police pulled me over. My fiance promised to pay for it, which now I know, good, don't do that. To pay for it, of course he didn't pay for it, so I ended up getting a warrant. So it was a traffic warrant. So look, I went out here outside wilding, because when I called, she talking about a warrant. I didn't even know what that was. I'm like, so what that mean? What's a warrant? Well, if you get caught by the police or pulled over and they run your license, you're going to jail. And I was like, oh my Lord. I've never been in trouble with the law. So luckily, I was able to pay that off probably like a year or two later. So anywho, I had to escape from that situation after I escaped from that situation. Can you imagine? So I had called my homeboy Warren. Shout out to him, my boy. That's the one who I recorded Get It Got It, the song in his studio. He used to work with my mother back in the day. So I called him to pick me up to bring me to the Greyhound station. So I'm like, just in case the police try to pull up here, and I got this warrant. And was my mom still alive at this time? I think she might have been. And like I was dealing with that, my mom being sick at the time, so she in and out of ICU. And I did remember I was fired from my job because of some stupid situation with paperwork. Anywho, so one, he came and got me, brought me to the Greyhound station. My dad picked me up from the Greyhound station, the bus station. And I ended up staying with my dad. And then, like I said, my mother, she passed away. So shout out to my homeboy Josh, because he drove 3 hours to come get me from my dad's house, so I could make it up there to, you know, see my mom for the arrangements and all that. Anywho, with the domestic violence, with the escape situation. So I was able to escape that situation because just listening. And this was another time that I was really submerging myself into the word and listening to God and hearing from him, and those submission prayers like, move whoever you got to move out my life, you know what I mean? Because my spirit's just not sitting well right now. Something is going on and I need some intervene, whatever the word is, I need it. So there was this book too that gave me a big revelation, especially when it comes to relationships. If you didn't have someone like a father figure or anyone to really like put you on game, quote unquote, about relationships or guys. So there's this book, R.C. Blake, shout out to him. I want to say it's called The Father-Daughter Talk or something like that. He's out of New Orleans. I passed out of New Orleans and he wrote that book. I brought the book, I want to say it was on my phone, and I read that book in like one day or one night, so to speak. Because I'm in the room with him, he's sleeping, I'm just reading this book, like tears just running down, and I had to go outside in my car that wasn't working, and finish reading that book because I was just crying because of the revelations. Like, it was just basically telling you how guys can run game on women, and we're too in love or whatever the case may be to realize of what's really going on. So big shout out to RC Blaze, because that was my wake up call. So anywho, those were like 2 back-to-back situations I had to escape from. So yeah, when it comes to stuff like that, you don't want to, if you're trying, because I know it's different now because guys are getting abused. Even though people may laugh at it, it's still a serious matter. You know what I mean? So I feel as if you are in one of those situations, prayer, and you just ask God for the grace, and you repent. Of course, you want to repent for everything that you've done, and you just ask Him for a way out. And look, baby, He will give you that way out. But you have to listen. You definitely have to listen. You have to listen. You have to pray. You have to listen for Him, and when He tells you to move and go, you have to move and go. Because when it comes to stuff like that, like life and death situation, especially with relationships, there's always a window. It's always a window. Like I say, if you know your partner's patterns, there's always a window of getting out. So, like I say, I searched the house, nobody was there. He gone. This is my time to go. Cousin, can you turn back around, come get me? She turned around, came and got me. Peace. So, there was another situation, domestic violence situation I was in. Now, this one was a little different because we were actually in the Word together. And we were watching sermons together. We were vegetarians together. We were abstinents together for the most part. And it was one of those relationships where it's like you're walking together with God. And I don't know, I was like, he was a gentleman, you know, that's what I liked about it. And I felt safe. But then there were certain things that he would say and do that was kind of like, But I was blindsided because we in the Word. You know, oh, he God-fearing. He know Jesus, scripture, you know, that type of thing. So, anywho, fast forward, I'll take you to the day of. Well, there was one time he hit me and it hurt my shoulder. And if I tell you the cause of why he hit me, ridiculous. And like I say, this is not to bash, because I'm pretty sure he might see this. But he was looking for a DVD, and he thought I was hiding a DVD, because when I came and helped him find the DVD, it was right there. He said, oh, you put it there. Like, crazy mind things was going on. I can't even explain it. So, and then he ended up hitting me or whatever, and I just told him, I'm like, if it happens again, I'm gone. It's like, even though we give people chances, like, it's not worth risking your life, because you never know, that second chance might be your last chance breathing on earth, you know. But I also knew he was dealing with mental issues like schizophrenia and, you know, some other things like that. So anywho, and he was on medication. So anywho, with the second time it happened, and for that part with the shoulder thing, I ended up going to the hospital just to get checked because it was hurting me or whatever. So anywho, with the second time, we were in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, because at that time that's when I stayed in California or Nevada. I think it was Nevada, when we stayed in Nevada. So we're in Baton Rouge. He said that he wanted to check up on his mother, so we went back down to Beora, Louisiana. And we're out there, and we were staying in this, I think it was like an extended stay or something. Excuse me. And the whole, like, he left early that morning, right? And I'm still kind of like, you know, sleep, like, okay, you know, be safe, woo, woo, woo. And I'm finally get up, and I'm like, oh, he's still gone. So, you know, I'm checking up, texting, calling, no response, no text back, no call back, no nothing. So at this point, I'm getting concerned. Not even on no, oh, you wait, why? Like, I'm like, are you okay? Are you alive? You know? So, trying to see what happened next. Oh, anywho, I still haven't heard, so I'm like, I guess I'll just wait and see if he'll respond. Tell me why the place the extended stay that we were in, or I was in at the time, caught on fire. The building was on fire. So we had to evacuate. So right now I'm just like, bro, I'm blowing up the phone like, yo, pick up the phone. The building's on fire. Like, where are you? So we had to evacuate. So we outside, like they got smoke. They have the fire trucks. They putting out the fires. You see people in the window like, this is straight out of a movie. This is a movie. And so after hours passed, you know, it calmed down. They was able to like get the smoke out the building. Then they told everybody it was safe to go in. So you see like broken windows of, I guess, them going in or people coming out. I don't know. So we was able to get back in there. And it wasn't really smoking when I got back in the apartment extended room, whatever you want to call it. So at this point, it's like, it's getting dark. So I'm like, okay, this dude been gone all day. Like, what's really real, you know? And I understand people need their time and what weird noises. Hold on, let me turn these lights back on. I don't do real noises, baby. So, you know, I know people need their self-time, which is cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But just let your partner know that you're alive and it's all good. So, like I say, this time it's nighttime. So, no response, no text, no callback, no nothing. Like I said, I'm still concerned. So, I just pray about it and be like, you know, whatever, woo. I want to say around this time, it was like 11, 12, 1-ish. I can't remember the exact time, but it was that late around that time. So, at this point, I'm like, good night. I'm in the bed. And I hear the door, like somebody's coming in, and I'm like, for real, bro? So as I'm hearing him coming in, I look at the time. I said, So like I said, I knew it was around 11, 12, 1. So I act like I'm asleep at this time. I'm like, you ever act like you were fake sleep? Yeah, I was acting like I was fake sleep. So I'm acting like I'm fake sleep. He come in. You ain't sleep. I said, oh, shoot. Here we go. And like I say, he was on mental medication, so you're not supposed to drink when you taking medicine. You feel me? So I'm already know. I said, girl, look, just keep acting like you sleep. Keep on snoring, acting like you sleep. You don't hear nothing. And it started to work. And like I say, he was like, yo, I ain't sleep. I don't know why I be remembering this stuff, but I still remember. And I was trying to go to sleep. And then, y'all, the unbelievable happened. My phone rang. Keep in mind, I told y'all, it was like 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, and my phone ringing all day. My phone wasn't doing a ding, ding, ring, ding, ding. And I got this, I guess now, belligerent guy in my room, drunk, talking crazy out his mouth. Now my phone is going off. So in my mind, I'm like, yo, who's calling me this late? Because even my male friends know, man, I'm not picking up the phone if you call me that late. So at this point, I'm like nervous because I don't know what he's going to do because he's already talking out his mind. So, who is that? And I'm like, I'm trying my best to act like I'm asleep. Like, I'm trying my best at this point. Because in my mind, I'm like cussing out whoever is calling me this late. Because what? You have no idea what type of situation I'm in right now. So he picks up the phone. Well, he answers the phone. It was a cell phone. He like, hello, who is this? And I'm hearing a guy on the other voice, but I can't really make out who it is. Like, which one of my friends is this? So he on the phone with him, and I'm paying attention. I'm like, I still don't know who that is. And I'm now at this point, I'm like, hey, I'm trying, like I'm getting up, like what's going on? Hey, you made it in, what time it is? Like I'm thinking, like what's going on here? And all I remember is he like threw my phone, and I was reaching for my glasses, and he just pop me in the eye, like real life gave me a black eye, and I fell. And I just remember, like, he broke my glasses. So I got glasses broken on the floor in my eyes. It's like hurting, like, everything just went black. Like, he hit me that hard, I couldn't even see. I couldn't see for a minute. And I just screamed to the top of my lungs, my voice. I was just screaming and hollering, basically trying to signal somebody to come and help, like I'm in trouble, because I didn't know what else to do. Dude, you've been gone all day. You come back drunk and violent and crazy? Hell, I was like, whatever. So at this point, I'm hearing people knocking at the door, like, are you okay? Are you okay? What's going on? And like my sight is coming back, and I can tell he's kind of panicking because I'm going for the door. He's trying to stop me from going out the door. And he kind of calmed, I guess, snapped back, because it didn't seem like he was drunk, because, you know, he was trying to stop me from going out, and, you know, he's panicking at this point. And I'm still hollering and crying. And so when he finally lets me walk out the door, there's just like this mob of people at the door, like, what's going on? I was like, he hit me, and then I'm running down the hall, and then they see the dude, and they're like, shame on you, why you do it? So the mob is holding him back from following me. So I'm running down, and I think I had my phone on me. Yeah, I did have my phone on me, so I was able to grab my phone. So I'm running down the hall, then I'm running downstairs, and I called the authorities, because I wanted to get my stuff. And I called my dad again, and it's like, look, I gotta do another Greyhound trip, right? So there was another guy. He came down. It was like, hey, baby, I just want to make sure you safe. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you call the police or whatever. Get your stuff. I was like, yeah, thank you. So then I called whoever called me that late just to let them know what was going on. So shout out to my homie, you know what it is. It was my homeboy 5, and he was just telling me, he wanted to tell me that he was moving to New Orleans, closer to me, where we could link up and work on music, because he was one of the A&Rs that I worked with when I was staying in Atlanta, Georgia, when I was in college. He was one of the A&Rs that was working with Universal, and that's how we met, and we just kept in contact throughout the years. And he was calling me to let me know that he was moving closer to me so we could link up and do some music stuff. And the reason why he called so late was because of time zones. He didn't know it was that late. And he was like, oh, my bad, baby girl, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, you ain't got nothing to apologize. Because, you know what I'm saying, wasn't nothing going on with us. You was just hit me up, letting me know, let's work again or whatever. So that was the other situation where I got out. So, how they say, draw attention to you. But see, nowadays it's so different, because people got guns and they be so angry and mad. They'll just kill you. Like, you don't really have chances just to get away. So the first sign of, like, when you're in the dating or courting phase, the first sign of somebody being like angry, or the first red flag, I don't care how fine they is, I don't care if you didn't lay down with this person and it was the best thing you ever had, I don't care how much money they got, I don't care how in love you think you is, I don't care what it is. The first sign of some man or woman, first red flag of them having like a temper or some type of fruit that is not of the spirit, baby, people, I'm not going to say people are dying. People is dying. People is dying. They are being murdered because of somebody feelings, their emotions. And there's been so many men over the past year. What is this, 2024? Over like this year, like I know last year and the year before, it was just so, it was, every time you look up on social media, it's a post about a girl dying, a girl being shot because a dude mad because she don't want him no more, or whatever the case may have been. Y'all, killing somebody that you in love with or you in a relationship with is not worth your freedom. You know how many people out here? Like, do you know how many people out here? You can find better, bro. Like, and I don't know if it's the single parent thing, how they try to say, oh, this the mothers raising these dudes and they're more dependent on their emotions, and instead of, you know, logic and reason and being disciplined. It might have something to do with that. But y'all have to really get a grip on life. because, like I say, killing somebody because of anything, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. The only valid reason to kill somebody is if they trying to kill you and you trying to not let them kill you and you end up killing them. Like, that's probably the only valid reason I could think of. But just to kill somebody because they trying to leave you, man, if you don't let that girl go somewhere, man, regardless if y'all got kids together or not. And it's like so crazy because you got dudes out here, even some women too. They'll kill their significant other and the kids. Like, for real, bro? Y'all killing the kids too? This is crazy. Man, this is crazy. So it's best to discern people in the courting or dating phase before you get into relationships. And I can admit my mistake was actually living with these people. Like, we were not married. We may have been engaged, but we were not married. You see what I'm saying? So that was like an open door that shouldn't have been open. So I definitely learned my lesson there. I'm just thankful that I was able to escape a couple of domestic violence situations that could have ended bad, like real bad. And like I said, I have known people, I've had like friends that have been murdered from domestic violence, and it's just not fair, you know, because everybody wants love for the most part. If you're not too hurt, if you haven't been hurt too much, everybody wants love. Nobody deserves to die because you feel like this relationship ain't working out. You know what I mean? So y'all really need to take in consideration, like, and then they end up killing themselves. Like, come on, bro. But anyway, take consideration of people's fruits, or even if they have fruits. Like, if I'm out here dating or just meeting people, the first sign, the first red flag of you having a temper or you being angry, when I mean angry, I mean like you hot over something small, I'm good, B. Like, I could see you being angry because somebody violated your mom or your daughter or something. I could see you be mad. But if you mad because I'm taking too long to text you back because I work, or I'm reading my Bible, like I'm doing productive stuff, and you feel like I'm talking to another dude, real life story, like, I'm out of here. I'm not taking those chances. So we really have to discern these people that we come in contact with. Even with friends, you know what I'm saying? People are envious, they're jealous. You got to pick up on these things. You have to ask God to discern, give you the discernment so you could discern these people that you come into contact with, that are courting you, that you are courting or dating, meeting, befriending. Have that discernment. Pray, ask God to reveal these people to you so you don't end up in these wild, crazy situations in real life, have to run for your life, escape for your life like I did a few times. Like, I'm pretty sure there was another situation, but look, I'm not trying to be on here talking about all the crazy stuff. So, there's a few things that I do want to mention too, because I always like to put the word in on these videos. So those were my two testimonies that I have when it came to domestic violence. And like I say, I do admit that I did play some wrong parts, because I was hitting back or hitting first at times when I was what they call it, emotionally unstable, because I had so much trauma, because I was in survival mode. And it's not, what they call it, an excuse. It's definitely not an excuse. I was wrong. I admit it. My bad, whoa. But it's definitely not the case now. I've been learning my lessons years ago. Don't hit no man. Don't let no man hit you. That's the period. Point blank period. And vice versa. Dudes, if a woman put their hands on you, you don't have to hit her back. Just leave her where she at, right there. Now, if she's trying to kill you, I mean, by all means, protect yourself. I'm not telling you to go kill her. I'm just telling you to protect yourself. You need to leave that situation. It's not a safe situation for you to be in. And no relationship is worth your life. And I'm big sis telling you that. No, big auntie, sis, whatever you want to call me. Nobody is worth your life. some stuff online, and I didn't even know October was Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I didn't even know that, so it's like we're right on time. It says it's always a sin. Emotional abuse is real. Abusive speech is never an acceptable way to communicate. Colossians 3:8. You can also look up Psalms 11:5, Colossians 3:19, and Malachi 2:16 through 17. Violence is never an appropriate response to being provoked. People provoke us all the time, but we are still responsible for our response. Ephesians 4:26, and you can look up Luke 6:45. Biblically, headship does not grant a husband unlimited power over his wife. The right to remove her choices from her, or the right to have his own way all the time. That's Mark 10:42 through 45, Ephesians 5:1 and 2, also Ephesians chapter 6, verse 21 through 29. God's purpose is to deliver the abused. So that's Psalms 5, 7, and 10. 140, Acts 14 and 5, and some stuff. It is good to protect yourself from violent people. Remember what I said? I was like, if you show one little red flag, it could be one little color pencil red, it could be a little dot, little red, I'm out of there. Outie. Proverbs 27:12. You can look up Proverbs 11 and 9. And it says, what they wrote here on the site. David fled King Saul when he was violent towards him. The angel of the Lord warned Joseph to flee to Egypt with Jesus because Herod was trying to kill him. Paul escaped from those who sought to stone him. All right. It is good to expose the abuser. Ephesians 5:11. You could look up that. Bringing the deeds of darkness into the light is the only way to get help for both the victim and the abuser. And like I said, I did alert the authorities for that last situation. It is good to allow the violent person to experience the consequences of his and her sinful behavior. One of life's greatest teachers is consequences. God says what we sow, we reap. Galatians, if I said that right. Chapter 6, verse 7. A person who uses violence at home does so because he gets away with it. Don't let it happen. God has put civil authorities in place to protect victims of abuse. The Apostle Paul appealed to the Roman government when he was being mistreated. Acts 22, verse 24 through 29. So we should do likewise. And you can also look up Proverbs 19, chapter 19, verse 19. So this is on this site. I'm going to read it as well. It's basically something for the churches. The churches could do. Churches can and should do all they can to combat domestic violence. Educate the teens on healthy dating relationships, even adults. I'm putting my own adults too, baby, because a lot of times we don't be knowing either. Teach the proper relationship between husband and wives and the misuse of authority. Creating a healing environment in the church. Having zero tolerance for abuse of any kind. Become familiar with the community resources to help women and families in crisis. And not only the church, I think this should be conversations that need to be talked about at home. Of course, my mom was like, don't let nobody put their hands on you, woo, woo, woo. But like I said at the time, she was down on her health, so I didn't want to come to her with this and for her to be even stressed out even more. You know, she was already crying before because she couldn't help me, and, you know, she couldn't even help herself. So I didn't want to stress her out even more with my relationship dramas, you know. And like I said, instead of me just leaving the relationship, I was hitting back, which, no, that was wrong as well. You don't get even, you go. You don't get even, you ghost. You don't get even, you go ghost. You don't even, you go. Bars. So hopefully this has educated somebody, gave you some type of willpower to leave your situation. Like I said, I don't care how nice they is, how much money they got, how good the woo is, what career they got, that you just gonna come into all this money and wealth, you won't stay with them. how much you have helped them out of a situation and you feel like they owe you something, so you're going to stay with them. I don't care if they do everything good, but they beat you up or they hit you at 9 then, throw you down the stairs at 9 then. Leave. You need to leave. No relationship. Like, I don't care. It's not worth your life. Now, even though some people can change, are you willing to take that risk of your life? You know, like I say, dude hit me one time and I was like, do it again, I'm gone. He did it again and he could have killed me, but he didn't, thank God, and I left. So thank you guys for watching this episode. I hope this was helpful in some type of way. Hope it gives you encouragement and maybe some wisdom. If you're young and you haven't dated or whatever, my advice to you is pay attention to the red flags. Pray for discernment when you're dating anybody who you come in contact with. Like I said, it could just be friendship with somebody, or if somebody's courting you and want to get to know you romantically or in a romantic space. Definitely pay attention to those signs. It's certain things that you could tell, like when stuff doesn't go their way, pay attention to how they react and how they respond. When they broke, how they move. When they have money, how they move. When somebody disrespects them, how they move. When they get offended, how they move. What else is like a sign that you could tell if somebody has a bad temper? You could probably look some of this stuff up on Google. Use your Googles. But those are some definitely good signs and ways to tell a person's temperament. But you always want to be around people that have the fruit of the, do I say the fruit of the spirit? Spirit of the fruit? Fruit of the spirit? Fruit of the spirit. You know, they're patient, they're calm. When somebody offends them, they don't buck at them and try to, you know, act like they the man or they the woman or I am this, I have this and that. Like, nah, you don't want to deal with it. Trust and believe. You do not want to deal with it. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, I hope this has been informative. But those are my stories. And I have another one, so to speak, but it wasn't like a relationship. It was more like a kid got out of his place. But that was sort of different because it wasn't a relationship. So anywho, love y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Subscribe, comment, share. Until next time. Ooh.